Well, generally, I think I got positive feedback, so let's do it again. There's a few things. A number of people asked to see the state of the collection. My collection, I don't really think is actually that big. I'm not a hoarder, and I mean, there are amazing collectors like BurtNet69. I wish I knew what his actual name was, but I've spoken with him in the past, and he's on Instagram, and he's got like a museum collection of the finest possible examples ever, and he'll have like 12 of them. So the best of the best. I've had some extraordinarily nice watches in my life, but if I don't wear them, I don't keep them. So people, sometimes I'm like, why did I sell it? I'm like, dude, you never wore it. Okay, so my collection is not that large. But while I'm here, subject of the next video is going to be a little weekend fun. So let me digress, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, you know what? I'll save that for the next video. How about that? Okay, state of the collection. I have 2 watch boxes that I have out of the bank currently, and they're the watch boxes that I bought a long time ago, and I always swore that that basically nothing beyond them would stay. I didn't want to be like, one old collector I know who had literally a steamer chest full of watches. Steamer chest. He said, I have no idea how many watches I have. I don't want to be that way. If you are, that's cool. It's just not my thing. I want watches to be worn. So, chronographs. Currently right now, I'm wearing my Omega Speedmaster. It's a nice watch. It's cool. Somebody made a comment yesterday, hey, I wish my wife would let me spend so much money on my collection. And a lot of the stuff here, I'm not a checkbook person. And so I like to take on orphans and watches that were needing serious repair, restoration, that kind of thing. I wanted to sort of work my way up. I've never been a fan of like dropping a big ton of money and having the great watch. So when it comes to things like this came from a guy in Canada that I knew on Reddit, and it badly needed service. It's an older model. It's from the mid-2000s. And so it needed to be serviced, and I got a decent deal on it. I can't complain. So I got that, and I serviced it, and it's nice. And now I have a Omega Speedmaster. It's a lovely, lovely, elegant watch. I mean, some people sniff at these because they're like, oh, everybody's got one. Everybody's got one, but there's a reason that everybody has one. They're beautiful. They're beautiful, elegant, classic watches. They will never go out of style, and they've been made for decades, and there's a reason why they've been made for decades. I mean, they're just super cool. Oh, I don't have the right box. Well, actually, I do. It's a long story. In any case, I'm a big fan of Omega. Omega is my first non-Seiko brand that I dig, but there are other ones too. So speaking of Omega and another Omega, and speaking of bargains and working my way up, this is another one I like a lot. This is an Omega Speedmaster Mark IV. I swear I'm going to get better at this. So this is an Omega Speedmaster Mark IV. They were only made for like a year and a half in like 1973 and 1974. And they're cool. This one was, again, another one of these crazy bargains. It was listed on eBay with a whole bunch of rubber bands around it and saying, does not run serious water damage. But I looked at the lume, because the thing you always look at with watches, with vintage watches, you look at the lume. Is the lume white? Because lume is reactive to moisture. And so the dial looked clean, and the moisture didn't look like it ever got in. And so I bought it. I got this for a good price. And it arrived, and what was missing was these have a crazy casing situation where you have this center round bit here pops into this outer case part. So you could push this whole thing out, and this whole middle part is basically like a cartridge, and it's held into this outer case by a rubber O-ring. That O-ring was gone. That was it. It desperately needed service, but it was absolutely complete. And this was a bargain. So again, I didn't pay full value for this. I added value to it with my labor. But these are really cool. This is one of the few Omegas that has clutches rather than the old style like direct drive Swiss chronograph style. This one actually has clutches and slidey stuff. And when you, this one, the way this one works, instead of having like a separate minute totaler like this one has that big hand right there. That is your minute counter. But what it basically does, this like airplane thing, that's your minute counter. What starting it does is it locks that hand to the minute hand. So those two things will now move together. It's an interesting, it's a funky design. Nice thing is it's very, visually it's easy to read. So that's pretty cool. I like that watch a lot. Here's another non-Seiko chronograph that I like a lot. This is a Sin ST 103 that I changed. I upgraded it. I put the old style countdown bezel on it. So that's a pretty, gosh, you know, I swear I'm gonna get a better thingy. Did you focus? This is all new to me. Is that doing it? I don't know. Any case, Sin ST 103. And again, this was sold on eBay from Japan, and the crystal was just hacked up. It looked awful. And the guy said an incredibly low price, relatively speaking, or best offer. And I was like, well, and I made him a best offer, and darned if he didn't accept it. And this one has a Valjoux 7750, which is a great, sturdy, truck-like movement, very sturdy, nice piece. And again, and it needed surface. But the crystal, I was able to polywatch the scratches out, and it's fine. It's a nice wear, actually, and I love the this is a very, very, very classic chronograph, and this is a nice one. It's one of my wife's favorites. Here is yet another non-Seiko chronograph. The poor man's Hoyer. This is a Lejeune, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to know what these are. This, gosh, I just don't have a way to get light on me here. There it is. Well, you can kind of see it. So this is, Hoyer made these for Lejeune. This is a Lejeune. This is a Hoyer Pasadena. And the only thing really that changed was they changed the branding on the dial to Lejeune. Other than that, again, it's a Valjoux 7750 in a satin case. These, I often see these were sold out of like a back of a magazine from someplace in New York in like the 80s, like 1980. But they're cool. A lot of the ones you see are PVD. They've got the black coating on them. This is not like that. This is the smooth metal finish. This is the original bracelet. It's a folded link bracelet. And so that's pretty cool. I love this one a lot. It's really neat. It's a nice case design, and I love, one of the things I like is I like big dials with relatively small cases. So this has that. It has that nice feeling to it where it has that big flat crystal, and I think it's really sort of a compelling design. There's some other neat watches in here. Now we're finally into Seiko. And again, like I said, I don't ever go out and just buy retail. What I do is I get projects and I build them up. So this one had sort of a long history coming to me. This is a Seiko 6138 7000. There's no light in here, so I don't know how I'm going to do this. Thank you for putting up with it. Gosh, it's because that light bulb is burned out. Okay, pretend that light bulb is not burned out. You can see it. What, Cricken? What? How'd you get in here? Oh, you busted the door open. Ladies and gentlemen, Kraken is in the building. What? What? You don't like that? All right, down you go. Any case, the Seiko 6138 7000 slide rule. Maybe if I go like this, I get some more light on it. Ridiculous. I claim to be professional. It's a lovely, lovely, lovely design. The dial's a little smaller, but it's got this great slide rule thing going on, and it's just so elegant. It's a cool piece. It's a modification of the 6138 001X Yachtman. Here's my Yachtman. Yes, Kraken, I hear you. Wow. So it's a modification of that, basically. The crystal here is larger, the dial is larger, it's got this fixed tacky ring, but it's got that same case shape on it. It's just, again, this is a very cool, manly watch. Cool of its design. Another 6138 I have that I love, and I just think it's neat, is the Jumbo. And this is mine. This one came to me in pieces out of a watchmaker's estate. So it was, literally, it was in pieces. And the guy had taken it apart for some reason, and one part of it was in one box and another part of it was in another box. These are an incredibly beautiful, beautiful design. I swear to God, I will get better light. It's one of the cleanest designs of this era. It's such a clean design. It's so beautiful. Now, this is not the stock bracelet. The stock bracelet on these was kind of a, sort of a president bracelet. And I really, actually, it's one of the things about this, one of the few times where I think Seiko got the bracelet wrong. I don't like it. So I put it on a taper Stellux H-Link. And I think that really works nicely because it follows the path of the case, and I think that's pretty cool. And I guess, I've got a lot more neato mosquito chronographs, but here's one of the ones that a lot of people will be interested in seeing, which is the True Pogue. The True Pogue, Pogue's watch, was a 6139 6005. Every single piece of evidence we have points to 6139 6005, the North American version of this model. This is a True Pogue. Pogue's was made in September of 1971. This is also in 1971. They were made between the beginning of 1971 and April 1972. Some people online say, oh, it was a 6139 6002. There's no evidence that says that it was a 6139 6002. Pogue's, the picture of Pogue's, one, he bought it in America, in Texas. 6002s were not sold in America. Pogue's says only automatic under the Seiko, which is a 6139 6005, etc. thing. It has the Suez symbol, and above that it has 17J, 17 joules. Again, North America. The 6002 did not have that water 70 meter resist. They're all pretty common for that. But this is what they look like. That is a True Pogue. That is the baby. That's the bunny. So if somebody's trying to sell you a True Pogue, and they say, oh, it's a 6139 6002, and it says chronograph automatic on the dial, it's not a True Pogue. Some people say, well, we haven't seen the case back. We don't know what the case back looked like. That's great, that's fine. Every piece of evidence we've seen, every piece of evidence there is, says it's the North American model. There isn't a single piece of evidence, not one, that shows that it's anything other than the 6139 6005, period. So next time somebody tries to smoke you on that one, then that's it. I have some other neat chronographs in here, but I think I'll save them for another day because there's nothing. These are really the main ones that I wear. What I just showed you are the watches that I typically wear. And so, yeah, I've owned a lot more watches, but these are the ones that I wear, and those are the ones that I keep. And that's it. And as for the subject of the next video, weekend fun, I think I saw the mailman come. And when the mailman arrives, he's finally bringing the final piece of the puzzle for me to finally complete a long-standing project where I'm going to turn this salesman sample of the 7C46 6009 ashtray. It's a salesman sample, empty, there's no case in here, it's a new old stock, and I finally assembled everything needed to turn this into a real watch. You'd be amazed how hard it is to find the black date wheel for these things. I mean, Seiko still makes them, and the part is listed as discontinued. I don't know, I can't figure it out. So in the next video, we're going to talk about salesman samples, and we're going to go through and make this into a real living watch. Okay, thanks for watching this silly video. Thank you again. Oh, somebody asked about the sword. There's a couple of them back there. We can have a video another day about that if you want. That's it. Okay, thank you.